What gaming hill are you willing to die on? Story 1. I don't mind DLC to a degree. There are definitely some really solid examples of games doing DLC well, such as the recently announced Season Pass for Mario Kart 8 that effectively doubles the number of courses in the game for half the game's launch price. The problem is the amount of lazy DLC that isn't worth the money it costs. Why does it cost £55 to buy all the DLC fighters and stages for Smash Bros. Ultimate, when the game itself with its roster of 70 characters and stages was only £60 to begin with? Microtransactions, on the other hand, have absolutely ruined gaming though. I have never wanted to pay £1.99 for 12,000 premium currency that I can then use to buy consumable in-game items, even if paying it will save me multiple hours of grind that was put in the game precisely to encourage me to want to buy the items. That doesn't make me want to pay for items, it makes me not want to play the game. Story 2. To add to this, games shouldn't force us to participate in PvP in a PvE game. Give the option for just PvE. I am really mad about Sea of Thieves for this reason. I want to enjoy it, it is so much fun to play, but I keep getting attacked by players at the end of my trips and losing 3 hours of work in one hit, because I hate fighting and play solo. There are a lot of players who insist that the PvP has to stay, and that it is one of the main draws of the game and stuff, and that playing the game means you have to be totally okay with losing all of that session's progress because someone would rather just prey on solo players than actually do any of the work getting loot. It is so frustrating. Story 3. Sonic was always about being fast. The early games, those based on the Mega Drive titles, however, made being fast a challenge. You had to master the controls and physics while moving through levels to maintain speed. Maintaining momentum and building speed was necessary to make long/high jumps. The Adventure era, titles between Sonic Adventure to Sonic 06, didn't get the physics right, and by adding the homing attack robbed the player of any of that, turning it into a slippery spectacle, automating many things like loops to give the illusion of speed, while also making Sonic accelerate too fast yet insisting he navigate on narrow platforms over lots of bottomless pits. Something the earlier titles avoided. The modern games, starting with Unleashed, gave Sonic a boost and changed the gameplay into quick reactions. Press the left or right shoulder button when an obstacle is about to hit you. This is fun the first time, but doesn't match the magic of truly mastering a stage the same way the classic did. Also, while we're on about Sonic opinions, the Chow Gardens found in Sonic Adventure 1-2 sucked. They require far too much grinding to make progress in, and are mostly just bland padding. Story 4. CTR just feels like it has more to do, and is more satisfying to master, even if it has less tracks than Mario Kart. Even without its DLC. Mario Kart 8 has 12 cups, and that's it. You can do each race individually, either solo or multiplayer, and do time trials, but once you've done the cups, everything else is random grind to unlock more kart parts. CTR gives you a full campaign mode to do, plus the option to play multiple game modes on each track, from basic races and time trials, to modes like Ring Rally where you have to drive through targets as long as possible, and also relic races where you go as quick as possible, while cutting off time by breaking crates, and there are rewards for completing specific goals beyond simply, here's a random part. Drifting also just feels better in CTR. Mario Kart is very much just hold the drift as long as possible, and if you hold it long enough you get a boost, while CTR has an actual timing window where you need to trigger the boosting. And chaining these boosts together is an inherent skill that feels satisfying to get right. Story 5. People for playing in the creative mode of a sandbox game. Looking at the assholes who exclusively play Minecraft Survival and act like anyone who plays creative are bad at games says a lot more about your character over their skill. I play Minecraft exclusively for creative mode because it helps my anxiety, and it's a creative outlet. Survival mode does not help my anxiety. That does not mean I'm bad at games. It literally means that this game helps me de-stress and I play it to de-stress. I love playing horror games especially, and I'm pretty good at strategy-based games. I don't like Minecraft Survival mode. Ada, along the lines of people criticizing creative mode are the people criticizing mobile players. It's almost as if some people either don't have the hardware to play on a PC or the funds to purchase a game that's around $35 that they won't play every day. Minecraft is like, maybe $10 max on Google Play. I have both the PC and the mobile version because I had the money at one point to splurge a little and get the PC version. Story 6. I want games with worse graphics made by people who are paid more to work less. Striving for maximum graphical fidelity is a futile effort, and all it does is cause game devs to have to crunch and take decades to finish the game, as well as creating bloated file sizes. I want game devs to not have to crunch and get paid more when they don't. Look at Rockstar Games. 3 GTA games came out during the PS2 era, and now that they're striving for maximum realism in games, there's been almost 10 years between GTA 5 and GTA 6. With only RDR2 releasing in between. It's also worth noting that RDR1 and RDR2 were also almost 10 years apart, don't get me wrong. Many of these super realistic games look breathtaking, but I seriously don't feel like it's worth the stress on the developers. I feel like it's more worthwhile to stylize a game, like Half-Life. Alex did. Stylization over realism also helps prevent games from becoming visibly dated. Compare Half-Life 2 to Team Fortress 2, two games by the same company released around the same time. Which one looks more dated, Half-Life 2 that strived for realistic graphics when it released, or TF2 with its stylized mid-1960s artwork-inspired graphics? Story 7. Consoles are just PCs that companies spent millions locking into a closed system so they could sell you a locked PC, aka console, that only plays games that game companies pay them rights to make games for, and then they teach everyone to fanboy them so they can have console wars. Let's all get hype. Consoles existing is just a way for the companies to make more money off the consumer. But exploitively, imagine if these consoles companies spent money making consoles that were not locked. You know, a PC. Since they didn't lock it down, the price can be less than current consoles. But then those companies would make less money. Draw some circles and make the feedback loops, throw in the arrows and show where the money goes. Story 8. The big question is, why is it considered an agenda to put a female, gay, ethnic, or etc. as a lead/main character in a game? One thing you pointed out is that no one complains when these people are side characters, which is literally the issue. No one gives a fuck when one of these people are side characters or NPCs. But all hell breaks loose when they are a main part of the game or story. They are representations for people who actually exist, and there should be no issue so long as the entire character's build is not based around their experience as a part of a minority. However, the female soldier you're talking about was barely ragged on for her bionic arm, and rather just for being a female character in general. The entire comment section was filled with people hating the fact that there was a female lead in a WW-based game and labeling her as an unnecessary, unrealistic ad, as if the entire game wasn't just that to a large degree. I understand not wanting to be barred with a bunch of identity politics and so on. But there are so many instances where just a character being added in a game who happens to be gay/female/etc. caused huge uproars in communities. The only time this isn't an issue is usually when the female character being added literally looks like she's made to be FAP material for male players.